Hello there. Well, I just verified my version of Shitty Glide. I say my version. Basically, AAS gave me permission to edit this, upload it, and submit it to the list, and all of that as long as I gave them explicit credit, which I will. Obviously, this is such, and it is in the description of the level, and it will be in the description of the video as well. This video is simply to document every change that I personally have made to the level, or at least all of the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. So here you go. This might be a slightly longer video because I did make a lot of tiny little changes that I may or may not remember, but here are the majority of them. Number one, layered these blue orbs, pulled them forwards a bit. Number two, there might be something around here, but I can't remember. Anyway, number three, the toggle bit. So there's a toggle here, which means as you're falling up, you don't see as much as you do here. It only went up to about here before, and I've extended it to there, because you could see a little bit of the shit beforehand. I added this saw blade, so that you can't accidentally, you can use to be able to slide under here and then whoop up there. I've changed a lot of these to black, just, I guess, change of scenery. Added corner blocks in every single one of these. Like, God, that took forever. I moved this one block right, because in the original glide, you go from a red orb to a blue orb about here. And you go like, that's kind of how you do it. But you can't do that in here. You have to both time the click here, the release in here, and the click out there. Excuse me. So I made it so that you can just hold. It's really nice and simple. No matter how you hit the orb, at least on 240, it might be different on different refresh rates. And if it is, I'm sorry, please let me know. Added this because it's fun. It's entirely made up of 3DL, as you can see there. The ball. This is where I made the most changes, I think, I hope, maybe. So I added these little spiky things. It looks a hell of a lot easier than the original glide, and yes, it is, but it looks a bit different, but it plays almost exactly the same except for this first click. I added a little bit there because these structures, like, none of these bits were here. So I just added layout blocks, which are allowed. Again, here. This entire section, it's not really decorated. It's just buffed a tiny, tiny bit. Like, this click is slightly harder, barely, though. In the original, this is bullshit, but yeah, anyway. Removed these spikes as well to make this click easier because it was annoying beforehand. And just added these structures here, and changed a few of the spikes just to make it look a bit nicer. UFO, technically a buff, but it's not really, it doesn't really change anything. Oh, yes, the effects. So, this static effect was what it was like before, and now it moves exactly like it did in the original glide. I copied it. Not copied it, like, I looked at a YouTube video and moved it accordingly. There are also, excuse me, these UFO effects, which I really like. Did all these myself. And these ship effects that you'll see here. Don't know why I'm clicking, I've got ignore damage on. Another one is I lowered this, because my god, it is frustrating. Anyway, back to the UFO. Oops. Yeah, so this was buffed a tiny bit, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I just wanted to make this click not fuck up this click, because sometimes if you did this slightly too early, you'd go into here differently and hit here instead of here. So I just made it so you just can't do that. These bits, just to be extremely... How do I click them? Come on. Well, no matter. Oh, God. Yeah, see? They're 3DL. Oh, well. These massive things are 3DL. I don't know if people believe me, first of all, but they've got, like, 35 scale. Anyway, they are 3DL. So are these. Don't worry. So you see, that's normal opacity. That's my edited opacity. Here, you see that there are invisible 1 and 2 speeds. There were no invisible 3 speeds, so I added them. Spider, yes. So I changed the background on the spider because this is more like the original. I can't be bothered to add the star because that would take, like, too many triggers. Now, I don't know if this was a good change, but... Oh, what the fuck is that? I had no idea that spike was there. Oh, well, it doesn't kill you. The problem with this is that before, on the original glide, this is a blue pad, or going into a dash orb or something, and then there's a black orb to go down here. But in the previous version, this was a yellow jump pad that made you have to click a black orb here that jumped you down. And you had to hold rather than just click. And without making this either just as hard or slightly harder than the original, I couldn't really get it to work. So I just made it, you just click and you fall. The structuring of this was completely different, so the effect doesn't fuck it up, because if you use these blocks, like the effect kind of goes through them and it looks really ugly. This doesn't look great, but it looks better than it did before. Same with all these. No gameplay nerfs. This bit I added, I made it black. Yep. So I could add these little rotatory effects. I think they're pretty cool. Look at them spin. They look great. They're slightly parallaxed. So you can see they're lined up here, and they're slightly ahead, and they're slightly behind here. Yeah, so they're slightly parallaxed. And that means that entire thing is changed. This is nerfed by a tiny, tiny fucking bit. It's because this was a horrendous click before, and it's still difficult, of course, because it's supposed to be. This isn't supposed to be free. But yeah, so now that's a little easier to deal with. The UFO, I didn't change that much. I simply added these little bits that go in and out, because the original has them. But they're white, and there aren't any white blocks that are allowed to do that. Trust me, I tried for about 2 hours to try and get something white to work with 3DL lines, but without having like 7,000 objects, I just couldn't get it to work. This, I added 1, 2, 3, I know, brilliant work, and the end screen, which I think looks really cool. I'm really happy with this end screen. And here's how the end screen looks. Hold on, I will pick up the camera just so you can have a really good look at the end screen. You might accidentally see my face in this. Do not worry. Hello there. Oh, fuck, I've actually got to play this. What? Fuck, I'm turning on no clip. I can't do it with like this. Where is no clip? There is no clip. Woo! So, this is offset. It is not offset when you actually beat the level. Do not worry. How you go through the UFO portal actually lines this up nicely. Actually, I'll show you that right now. This is a very informal video, as you can tell. I haven't really set this up wonderfully. Right. No clip is staying on. Bonk. Right. Not even going to bother doing the 3 spikes at the end. Anyway, look at how it lines up. It lines up really nicely. 1, 2, 3, bonk. See? All nice. The top is there, the bottom's there, and it all fits nicely. So, as for the end screen itself, what it's made out of are pretty much entirely banned blocks, I'm afraid. It doesn't really matter. Here we go. So, I think every object except the text here, and possibly the 3DL, is banned, so woo! But you're allowed to use banned blocks in end screens, and even if not, I can get rid of it. This entire section was really fun to build, though. I hope I don't need to get rid of it. Anyway, those are all of my personal changes to Shitty Glide. Thank you very much to whatever the fuck. Thanks very much to them for letting me edit their level. It was really fun to do, and really fun to play as well. I was sad that it was removed off the list originally, but I'm glad it gets to have a little bit of a reincarnation. As for the level itself, if you have any issues, problems, improvements, anything, if you spot absolutely anything, I am more than open to criticism. Just let me know, prove your statement, like get screenshots or something, show your refresh rate, and I will attempt to fix it. And if it's unfixable or I don't want to fix it, then I won't. It's all up to my discretion. Anyway, I hope this gets on the list.